Hello and welcome to Tarot Society Divination Studio. So as is popular this time of year, we are going to do a little spread for the year ahead. We have had, interesting, bottom of the deck right there, the death card. Yeah, so 2025, she dead, she gone, bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, right? But what do we have coming for the new year? What do we have coming? Cards work with us, talk with us, and bring forth the information that we all need to hear to be prepared for 2026. Do one more shuffle. And all right, let's do a classic Celtic cross spread for this. All right, some interesting cards going on. So here, I'm going to start with the past position. And this is what this last year felt like for a lot of us. The Tower card. I say let go and don't fear the Tower card. This card used to scare me when it came up. But what it's really telling us is that something has happened. Something that is major has gone down, and nothing will be as it was before. Why does the tower fall when Jupiter's lightning bolt hits it? Because the foundation that everything was built upon was not strong enough. So let it fall. It may seem like these people are falling to their peril, but the thing I like to focus on in the Tower card is that this lightning bolt from Zeus, this, magical destruction really, has all these flames of spirit near it. Things were seen in realms that maybe you didn't see, and so it has to be destroyed. Destruction, creation, destruction. Repeat. That's probably what life is like, is these cycles, right? So, it is being destroyed. Everything that this past year has destroyed or removed from our lives in order that we can build from a better foundation. And I would say that this is even related to some of the general astrology for, America at this time. The foundation cannot hold. The foundation that we've built upon in terms of our assumptions of beliefs, institutions that will never crumble, are crumbling. Social structures, larger structures, interpersonal structures. So as below, as above, and the micro is in the macro. So we've had these removals, these destructions in our interpersonal circles, and then we're seeing them in the largest picture as well. So that's in the past. That's what the year of the snake, the transformation of shedding that old skin is reflected in this Tower card in the past position. So where are we now? So here in the center, we have the Six of Cups coming up upside down, being crossed by the Moon card. Now we just have this major supermoon, full moon in Cancer. Cancer was originally depicted as a lobster before it was a crab. And that's why we have the lobster at the bottom of the moon card here. It's coming up from the collective waters of the unconscious, the divine feminine, starting, and it's at the foot of this path that goes between the wild wolf and domesticated dog. And this path is long and winding, but it goes to the very highest peak, where again, we have all of these flames or yods of spirit surrounding the moon and the sun together here at the top. So spirit is present in everything that is happening. The little flames that we call the yod of spirit there, they represent the breath of God. That in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God, but the Word was actually not a word. It was the breath. It was the space between the words. It's what is heard in silence. So to access the divine, to get to our highest path, we have to turn within. We have to start with a blank slate, because a lot of the things that we turn to have been destroyed or inverted. And so the path is, in my opinion, within, to go to the highest peak, to go to and one of the things I think about the moon card a lot too is that we can only go as high as we've gone deep. So those depths, those hard times, those lobster crawling on the bottom of the ocean times, scavenging in survival, have taught us something about humanity. And we can take that wisdom, and if we walk this higher path to go to the highest peak, holding the paradox, holding the balance between the necessity to be in both the, to hold the dynamic between our inner wild wolf and our domesticated dog. If we are too controlled or docile, we lose something. But if we wild out and get too feral, we're also going to be out of balance. So this is like a cross. And then this path also goes between these two pillars of wisdom here. So this is crossing the center of our spread in a way where it's neither up or down. I see the Six of Cups here upside down as a certain loss of innocence. We can't pretend that everything's, hunky-dory. And then the question with this being crossed in the middle, where it's neither up nor down, is, are we going to do the hard work? Are we going to go to the depths to go to the heights? Are we going to keep the balance between civility and rebellion? So if I go now to the bottom of the spread here, I have the Magician upside down. I read this as a block that we have all the tools right here. We have the hermaphroditic nature of the magician, who's neither masculine nor feminine, the perfect balance between the masculine and the feminine, and the magician as the master alchemist. But it's coming up upside down here on the foundation of our spread. So there's a hesitation, there's something where we don't want to do the magic. We're hesitating to grab the wand and do the inner transformation interpersonally and for ourselves that would then be reflected in the collective. Because when we change ourselves, we alchemize our own sorrows, trials, tribulations, energies, power, and own it, in our tiny little worlds, that becomes a drop of water in the bigger ocean. So look at your foundations. Look at where you're having any resistance to believing that the world actually can bend to your will, that you can have an influence if you use all of your tools available, the cup, the pentacle, the sword, and the wand. Because here at the top of our spread, which also represents, our highest self, we have the Ace of Pentacles, the divine hand holding this cosmic egg, cosmic pentacle of value inside of the secret garden. There's maybe even the same peak that we have in the moon card is here in the distance. But it's asking us to come back to our core, to what, I would even say, like, what society is supposed to be about. Why should we be civil to each other? Because it makes the world a nice place to live. Why should we care about issues of justice and appropriate resources for everyone? That is a divine right, because it makes the world a nice place to live. And so the secret garden here in the Ace of Pentacles card is asking us to come into, in our highest sense of self, admitting that, maybe we want a joyful place to live together. Maybe we want to just live life that's like a beautiful day in the garden and not about war and strife and fighting. But we might not be fully ready to be there just yet, because here in the future position is the Seven of Wands. Now, this card is, I've been feeling lately that it's kind of about like wasted energy. Who is this person defending themselves from? There's nothing on the other side here. They have the higher position, and all of these other wands can't even reach them. So in resisting things, we're actually avoiding doing the real work. Because we've got this wand that's in a defensive stance. When if we came into our magician energy and grabbed the wand instead of the magical wand, instead of the wand of the Seven of Wands, we could make magic. So the advice I have is that we all investigate where we get defensive and what that's rooted in, and how we can alchemize that defensiveness and turn it around into some magical action, some alchemy, some, committing to taking the longer, windier path that goes to the highest peak by finding the balance within ourselves that then will be reflected as a balance within the greater society, allowing ourselves to grow up, maybe even as a society, and not just, to understand the value of having more than just flowers. The value of the depths and the heights, of the wildness and the discipline, so that we can all have what we need, that everything is available to us if we acknowledge it, if we see it that way. Are we going to spend our energy resisting the old world? Are we going to put our energy into building a new foundation that works for everybody? Now this is committing to a longer winding path that goes to a higher peak that's going to take real work. It's not going to just happen. It's not going to just be handed to us. But if we keep our highest ideals, and the secret garden, I often in readings will explain it as the desires that we have in our heart that we're almost scared to say, that we're become so cynical as a society that we're scared to say that, like, we want flowers and childlike joy and happiness because it seems somehow less than, when it's really the highest energy. It's so to find your joy and places of connection and love and friendship in these times that seem like all so much turmoil is really hard. It's not easy. And so a lot of people are feeling very isolated right now, alone in a crowd, whether the crowd is physical in reality or the crowd of the internet and social media. But this isolation doesn't have to be lonely. It can be just being alone. The hermit asks us to turn within. What really matters to us? What do we have inside of our hearts and our souls? And if we turn to good sources of information, we will define the star in our lantern here. We might need some of this less rather than more information at this time to be more deliberate about our consumption of everything, whether it's, how we buy our clothes. Do we do fast fashion, or do we do sustainable and recycled fashion, or buying from small handmade makers? How are we doing things here? How can we simplify and make less choices? How can we be clear about everything that we're consuming, the things that we put in our mind, not just on our body, not just the food that we eat, because if we're constantly taking in these, daily atrocities, right, that the feed feeds us, then we're playing into their game of always being dysregulated, of always being disrupted, of always being in turmoil, because that world works by feeding on our discomfort and keeping us in states of dysregulation. And then as far as our friends and family go, we have to make the choice that's here in the Six of Swords card, of moving away from the stormy waters, of getting our boat that's been, had swords put in it. We got to get this boat across the river before it sinks. And there is helpers for us. This is similar to going across the river of Hades, of the river Styx in Hades. There will be helpers that will get us across this river, that will get us from the stormy waters to the quieter waters. And we might be feeling like this, the figures down here that are dejected. But it's important that, as in our interpersonal circles of friends and family, that we all make the choice to get away from the turmoil, to find the peace, and to make moves before this boat sinks, that we're all in together. We're all in together. In the position of hopes and fears, we have the Page of Pentacles upside down here in our hopes and fears, is that we're being really focused on what we don't have, the resources that of feeling like not enough, like I'm just a little page, I don't have enough money, these types of things, because it gives us permission to not come into our full magic. It gives us permission to just stay stuck in the conflict. If we're stuck in the conflict, then we never have to actually do the hard work to get out of it, which will take us really understanding the depth of the problem, the height of the problem, and the value in both the civility and the rebellion of the dog and the wolf. So but I feel optimistic about the last card here, and very much that this Ace of Pentacles at the top of the spread is reminding us that so much of what we're being sold as real, it is not in fact real. Your worth, your value is intrinsic. It is not tied to any materialistic or mundane thing. And mundane, the root of that word is things of the world. There's no price on what you are. Your value is intrinsic, whoever you are, whatever your background, whatever you think about yourself at this time, because this is being held up by a divine hand. And inside all of us, we have this secret garden. That secret garden is where we go to restore our souls, our spirits. It's the place that we all have inside of us, where nothing and nobody can ever touch, ever has touched, ever will touch, no matter what has happened to us. And so here in the final card of the spread here, we have the Queen of Swords. She's the only figure in this deck that faces sideways. She has her hand out and open, but first she shows her sword. And what is she protecting? She's protecting these clouds back here and this bird that represents her higher mind. The clouds represent her thoughts, her feelings, her inner life. And we have the cherub and the butterfly on the throne here. We need to protect our inner space while we're goo turning into a butterfly. We have the right to show our sword, to show some boundaries and say no. And the Queen of Swords too, she's not going out looking for a fight, but she's not afraid to defend her right to have her own inner life. Because this is what, they're kind of coming for. They in an attention economy where you pay your attention is where the real value is. So let's pay our attention to our highest values, to the inner life. Let's find the discipline to be able to allow and honor our wildness. We're not supposed to pick be wild or be disciplined. We're here to hold the balance between these two. We're not here to shame our depths to get to our heights. That's the old paradigm. That's Old Testament. That's done. That's what's dying here in this tower from last year. This old way of thinking of the Piscean age. Suffering is over. It doesn't have the value that we thought it had. So where do we find value now? And I would say it's in protecting our inner life, our what we feed our minds, what we feed our hearts. And seeing how even our desire to like keep up with current events can be its own kind of drug. And having the discipline and the sword to cut out some of these bad habits, you know, to be informed, but to not be constantly looking to get a hit of anything. To move beyond just entertainment to like real, yeah, here we go. King of Wands. Grabbing the wand of our will, the salamander here at his feet that represents alchemy. Salamander's on his throne, the lion there. And the wand is an evergreen wand. It's been cut from the tree, but it's evergreen. Because magic is real. And wands are our will. When we own our will and stand, or even sit, be in our power. Sit on the throne of our owning our will. Will as a verb and will as a noun. Will as our life's purpose. Okay, so, and you know, everybody being in, frankly, like a divine masculine energy. Finding that good masculine energy. Whatever you identify as. So that's my 2026 reading for the beginning of the year here. How we're gonna get started and how we're going forward. Protect your precious inner life, and allow whatever has fallen away in 2025 to stay in the rear view. Okay. Cheers, darling.